Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing another episode of World in Flames Collector's Edition, Days of Decision 3, Combined Game Playthrough number 2. Last turn we saw the German offensive on the Eastern Front slow down and basically grind to a halt at some point. General Mudd arrived and the Germans got big supply problems, especially in the center of their line. Pretty much halted all their activities. Right now the Russians are basically building a line in front of them, and it's really going to come down to what kind of weather we have, whether or not the Russians are successful in actually stopping the Germans at this point. We also saw London burn some more, and there was a lot of U-boat activity in the Atlantic, and it was a very active turn overall. The U.S. entry levels are at the point where the U.S. can actually start doing stuff, though it is a little bit behind schedule for the democracies. That has been a goal of the fascists, is to try to keep America out of the war as long as possible, and they have been doing a good job of that at this point. Next turn, I also like to note that next turn, which is a January-February 42, every single major power is eligible for a gear up. So we're going to see probably a lot of gear ups going into the next turn. Don't know how that's going to affect this turn spending, but I imagine that some of the major powers may curtail it a little bit, just so that they can save money for their upcoming gear up. Okay, let's go take a look at starting money for the major powers. Okay, starting money for this turn is looking something like Germany at 0, Japan at -6, Italy at -1, the Soviets at 0, Commonwealth at -7, the USA at -1, China at 0, and Free France at -11. I took a look, knowing that there's gear ups coming, and I decided that looking at what the major powers want to do, come up with this for bids. We have the USA bidding 1, we have Germany bidding 2 for 2 options, and Italy bidding 1 for 1 option. So let's go over to the initiative position track and see how this is going to pan out. All right. So we have the U.S. bidding 1. They're going to get a +3 for their second place position. That's going to give them 4. That's going to put them in first. We have Germany bidding 2. They're getting a +2 for their fourth place position from last turn. That's a total of 4 divided by 2 is 2. Italy is bidding 1. They're going to get 1 for their seventh place position for a total of 2. So Germany and Italy are tied. However, the German political effectiveness is at 8, and the Italians is down here at 3. So Germany will win that, and Italy will come in at third. So the last card will go on the U.S., and the last card will go on the Italians. Now for the non-bidding major powers, we have Japan at +4. That'll put them at 4th. We have the Soviets at +3. That'll put them at 5th. We have the Free French at +2. That'll put them in at 6th. The Commonwealth at +1. That'll be 7th. And China at 0. Okay, first up is the U.S. Let's go take a look and see what they want to do. Okay, the entry option, the political option the U.S. is going to go with is U.S. Option 9, East Coast Escorts. They can do that because the U.S. entry is currently above 45 for Germany. There is some minor effects here. The actual U.S. entry itself, it will be a 0 due to the Neutrality Act. And those entry options are going to be the number 11, number 16, and number 20 in the WiFCE rulebook. Basically, it allows up to 5 convoys or SCSs in the 0 C-box section of the East Coast to participate in any combats that include convoy points. Number 16 is gift of destroyers. Each SCS that the Commonwealth starts, completes, or repairs will cost 1 less build point. So that's basically 10 build points worth of builds. And number 20 is it allows the U.S. to put land-based air in any sea box, 0 section sea box of any sea area where they're allowed to escort convoys. So I will get the effects out. I don't have to log in the U.S. entry because it will be a 0 due to the Neutrality Act. And I'll come back with the U.S. activating a minor. Well, there are not a lot of options to activate for minors for the U.S., so I think we're going to go with Spain. So I will collect the markers and we'll head over to the status display. Here we have the markers. We have a -3 for Germany, a -1 for China, a 1 for Japan, a 1 for the Soviets, a -1 for the Commonwealth, and 4 for the U.S. So, the -1s and 1s are not going to do anything, so we might as well just get rid of those. It's not within an ideology, so it's not going to actually move anything. Now, which one to do? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think we'll do the German first, and we'll just move her away. One more. And then we'll activate the American. I'm actually going to lose some points on this because there's 4 points total. It's going to be 2 for this hex. And then it would be 2 for this hex and another 1 for the boundary, which would be 3. So that's just going to waste those extra 2 points, but it's okay. We got Spain a little bit closer to the Democrat ideology, which is not really a bad thing. I think that's it. The U.S. does not roll to see if they end the political phase because of the modifier, so we will move down to Germany. Germany has 2 political options. Let's see what she's going to do. Okay, the first political option that Germany wants to do is she's going to offer a level 3 treaty to Italy. Now, we don't actually pay for anything or record anything or really do anything until Italy gets a chance to accept. So the only thing Germany will do right now is roll to see if they end the political phase. A 3 does not end the political phase, so Germany will have a chance to do her second political option. Okay, Germany's second political option is going to be to recognize the Ukraine. The prerequisite for this is Germany may only play this option if either it controls Kiev or there's Poland stacked with it. There's a bunch here that are not going to apply because Germany does indeed control Kiev. So she's going to recognize Ukraine. The cost is a whopping 10 money. The U.S. entry is going to be +8. And I got a whole bunch of minor effects to put out. So I will do that. I don't know how many of them are still in the game. I don't think any of them. Okay, so anyways, I will do that, and I'll come right back with Germany will get to put 2 Ukrainian infantry in Kiev, and I'll come right back with the Germans activating a minor. Okay, last thing for Germany to do is activate a minor, and she's going to activate Mexico. So we'll come over here to the status display. There's Mexico. Put it back where it's supposed to be. Alright, we'll grab the markers. Over here. We got a 1 Japanese, a -1 German, and a 1 US, -2 US. So the 1s are going to do 0. The -2 US is just going to move it right here. And that's the end of that. And let's roll a die to see if the political phase is ended. A 9 is not ending the political phase, so we will move down to Italy. And Italy will use their, I believe it is, agree to a proposal. It's 0F, something like that. Doesn't cost them any money. It doesn't do anything. I have to just go back to the Germans and put the minor effects out for Germany and the U.S. entry for Germany, and I'll come back with, again, Germany activating another minor. Okay, Germany gets to activate another minor. I think she's going to activate Ireland because there really isn't a whole lot of other minors to activate, so we're going to activate Ireland. We'll come over here to the status display, and I'll grab the markers. Alright, let's see what we got. We got -2 for France. We got a -6 for the Commonwealth. A -1 for Germany. A 2 for Italy. And a 3 for the US. So, here's Ireland right here. So, let's just get rid of the 1 for Germany. It's not going to do anything. Now, let's do the -2 for France. So, that's going to drive the marker here. Then we'll do, I think, the -6 for the Commonwealth. That's basically going to drive the marker straight down this column. 2, 4, 6. That'll do that. Then we got 3 for the US. US is over here, so it's just going to basically drag it back this way. And the extra point gets blown off, and then we got 1 for Italy. So we're just going to move the marker right here. So, Ireland on the edge of the fascist ideology. Well, that's different. Like that. And we don't roll to end the political phase because Italy was the last bidding major power. So that's the end of that. Now we'll go roll initiative and see what we get for that. All right. We got white fascists, blue Democrats, and red communists. Let's see. The fascists definitely won. And the Democrats definitely lost. The communists come in the middle. Do the fascists want to go first? There's a +1 to the weather roll for this turn. So I think there's a 10% chance of having good weather in the Arctic, a 30% chance of having good weather in the Arctic and the North Temperate, and then everything else is just bad. I think the fascists, I think they'll be fine with going last. So we're going to put them last. And then, let's see, the communists probably want to go after the Democrats again. So it looks like the Democrats will be up first. We're going to have the Democrats, the communists, and then the fascists. Okay, now let's do weather. Let me go get my weather chart. Okay, let's get the weather rolling. Democrats are rolling for weather. They want a 10. Well, that's not bad. They got an 8. They pretty much got almost what they wanted. Now, let's see. So that's a 9 modified. Okay, we have blizzard in the Arctic, snow in the North Temperate. Where's my snow? Snow in the North Temperate. Storm in the Mediterranean. Fair in the North Monsoon. Funny thing about that. And storm in the South Monsoon and fair in South Temperate. And the weather roll, the weather die gets a +2 for next turn. And the impulse marker moves up 3 impulses per impulse, I guess. Alright, so that's the end of that. So I can anticipate this being a rather short turn. Well, you never know. Maybe the Russians will counterattack. Anything's possible. Alright, let's go take a look at reinforcements. I know there's a big pile of those. So we are on the November-December turn. That's right here. So let's take a look at what the Commonwealth has. Oh, first things first. This is the pile of ships going into the construction pool. You can see there's a pretty good sized pile. Got the transport for the U.S. Got transport for the Japanese. Amphibious for the Japanese and amphibious for the U.S. Just trying to go down through these. We have the Musashi for the Japanese. Big old battle wagon. We have a carrier for the Japanese, the Heel. I think this is the North Carolina for the U.S., a battleship. And we have an Italian battleship, the Lepanto. Get this Soviet sub out of here. Oh, the Germans got a couple of ships. 3, actually. They have a heavy cruiser, and a light cruiser. Another ship for the Italians. That is the Venzia, I think that's how that's pronounced. Might be one of the ones that was sunk and got rebuilt. Oh, big carrier. The Yorktown number 2, even though the Yorktown number 1 hasn't been sunk, but whatever. And another light cruiser for the Japanese. So we have a whole pile of ships that just went into the construction pool. Okay, now for actual reinforcements. We have 3 for the Italians. We have a pilot, a militia, and an artillery unit. We have 2 for the U.S. We have 2 pilots and a bomber, a Mitchell 25, a B-25. We have for the Japanese, we have a pilot, a Marine division, a convoy point, a little carrier, and a militia. For the Chinese, we have a Cav Corps, a garrison division, another garrison division, and an infantry army. For the Commonwealth, we have a ton. We have a territorial, we have a Indian motorized division, or corps rather. We have another territorial, and we have a whole bunch of ships. Heavy cruiser, battleship, and another Indian garrison unit, a infantry corps, a South African fighter, 2 convoy points, and the Queens. The Queens just showed up. That's really good for the Commonwealth. They will like that a lot, I'm sure. For the Soviets, we have 4 factories deploying to Siberia. Those will be all active this turn. And we have a ton of infantry armies. 1, 2, 3. 3 infantry armies, a headquarters, a motorized army, a mountain corps, a militia army, and a garrison corps. So a bunch of Soviet units. The Germans, not to be outdone, have a factory deploying. They have 1 militia, they have a 4-engine bomber, 5 offensive points, a single engine fighter, an SS mechanized corps, a pilot, and a naval air float plane. Okay, so I will get these guys on the board and I'll come back with our first set of impulses. Okay, for the Democrats' first impulse, the Commonwealth took a naval, getting their ships out in the sea lanes, protecting their convoys, trying to bottle up the German fleet. Down here in the Med, they basically embarked a bunch of land units for the Med. Nothing actually moved because they took a naval. The Chinese moved a few land units around, trying to beef up some of their stacks a little bit. Just trying to maximize their line, bleed the Japanese as much as possible. The United States took a combined. They moved a transport down here and debarked a air unit, which I'm going to swap with the Commonwealth's New Zealand P-40E. I will do that. And that was it for the Democrats. The Free French didn't do anything. They don't really have much to do. They're basically using their transport to help out the Commonwealth right now. That's about it. All right, that was the end of the Democrats' first impulse. I will move on to the Communists. Okay, we're on the Communist impulse. They have taken a land action, and they have a counterattack. The Communists have a counterattack right here. They have a 5-to-1. However, they have more than half of their units are mountain or winterized. So, it's blizzard. Normally it would be -3 combat odds levels, but because the Soviets have more than half their units winterized, it's only a -1. So it will actually be a 4-to-1 attack, and they have armor. I believe there's an armored unit here. Yes. Which means this is a blitzkrieg attack. But it will be on the 4-to-1. Do we flip over the headquarters? 4-to-1 blitz. It'll give us a +1. But then he's flipped over. Now let's take the chance. 4-to-1 on the blitzkrieg. Let's see what we get for a die roll here. Alright. Well, that's a pretty good die roll. That's a 7. 4-to-1 is a 7. Is star B. None of the Soviet units will be flipped over. The German unit is shattered. So he comes back next turn. And it is a blitz. It's a blitz. It's a blitz. Alright, I gotta adjust my stand here. Alright. So, we only have one armored unit, so do we really blitz with one armored unit? I could put them here. You know what? Let's make the Germans retreat. Or maybe make them retreat. Yeah, that's a sticky wicket for the Germans. That's definitely a sticky wicket. That's what you call a Soviet winter offensive counterattack. All right, so I think that's the end of the Communist impulse. I am going to move on to the Fascist impulse, and then the Germans, I'm probably not going to do anything except move. The Germans have a pretty big supply problem right in this area here. There's no headquarters. So they got some issues going on there. And so I'll do some movement and I'll be back if I have any attacks or anything. The Germans are going to take a land impulse and pay 1 offensive point to get a single naval action, which will allow them to deploy their subs. Okay, I just finished the Fascist impulse, and the Italians did a combine, some naval transport going on, and the Japanese also did a full combine, paid for all the oil, moved some things around. No attacks there, no attacks in the desert, because storm equals rain in the desert, so that's pretty much out. The Germans still got supply problems in the Eastern Front, but they did manage to scrape together enough for 1 attack up here. They have a headquarters over here, so it is in supply. And this is a 10-to-1, which is reduced to 7-to-1, which is an automatic kill on the blitzkrieg table. So he's gone. Now the Germans have to decide, are they going to occupy the hex? Because occupying the hex puts them out of supply. I think they have to. These hexes right here are off-board hexes. They're Karelia, so I don't have to. I think they're off-board. No, those are not off-board. Those are on-board. these ones are off board. These ones up here. I think these are part of the board. But anyways, we will occupy with that one right there and call it good. Best we can do for the current situation. And I think that's going to... Oh, no, we have some potential sub-action in the Atlantic. So first we will start out with the farthest gap. See if we get anything there. A 3 and a 10. Now this is storm. This is snow. So +1 to search rolls. So that makes the German roll a 4. But I do believe the Commonwealth has a big pile of convoys here. They have 12, so that's going to subtract 2 from the die roll. So that makes this a 2. So everything from the 2 box up for the fascists or the Germans is capable of engaging, and nothing for the Democrats found anything. So we're going to calculate the surprise points, which is 13. Like 8 surprise points. No. It's going to be 12 and minus 3 is 9. It's going to be 9 surprise points. So I will do some math and be back in a bit to see how this works out. Okay, we come out with 10 sub points, 5 sub counters, and 10 ASW with 10 ship counters. And 9 surprise points for the Germans, so they're going to move the ASW column all the way down to the 1 abort. So they will get to abort 1 sub, and the subs are going to do 1 sunk and 1 damage. So first we'll go for the abort for the Commonwealth. Doesn't really matter, it's all kind of simultaneous because there's no DEs here. Now let's see. He'll pick this one to abort that one. So that's a 9. And he indeed does abort. I had to flip one over, so. Now the Germans will pick, obviously, 3 convoy points to sink. And the damage, the Commonwealth will pick one of the heavy cruisers, I would say. And this one. Yep. So he is a 6. See if he gets damaged. He doesn't. He just gets an abort. So he's going to go home. We'll put him back there for now. Flip him over. And that's the end of round 1. Well, let's see if there's going to be a round 2. 3. There might be. Okay, so the Commonwealth is going to pick a naval air battle. And since the Germans don't have any, there basically is no battle. So that's the end of that round. So now we will move on to the next sea area over here in the North Atlantic. We'll turn a sub down and we will roll to see if we find anything. 9 and a 6, it doesn't find a single thing. So that's the end of that. And that will be the end of the fascist impulse. The Japanese, like I said, they just moved some units. And the Italians did a combine. So that's the end of that. All right, so move on. We will roll weather. This is the weather roll for the next set of impulses. That's a 6, which is going to be an 8. Snow, snow, rain, fair, rain, fair. Snow, snow, rain, fair, rain, fair. The impulse marker moves up 2, and there's a +1 to next turn's weather roll. Alright, so we'll get the Democrats going here and see what they're going to do, and then I will be back in a second. Okay, the Commonwealth took a land, and oops, I forgot to move one unit. And this is actually down in South Africa. Okay, so they're going to have a ground strike here in these 2 units. So the Italians will intercept with their fighter. So we're going to have a little bit of a battle here. Watch the Italians choke on this one. And where's my green? Okay, here we go. All right, so we got +4, -4. The Italians will roll first on the +4. That's 15, 14. +4, 14. Attacker abort. So that bomber will be aborted. However, he does get to reply. On the -4, he rolls a 6 on the -4. Defender abort. So they're both aborted. So a bomber with no actually, I don't think he could have rolled. Doesn't matter. It's going to be aborted anyways. So the British did that just as a spoiler. They wanted to make sure that the fighter for the Italians was committed, because they have a 3-to-1 on the Blitzkrieg table here with a +1. Because they have more armor than the Italians do. So it's a 3-to-1. Blitzkrieg, +1. Who knows? Well, that's not a bad roll. Rolled a 6 on the 3-to-1 table is a cross 1R. So the Italians will lose 1 unit, and the remaining unit has to retreat. Half the British units will remain face up, and the Italian unit is retreated and turned face down. Half, we got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 3 remain face up. 4 remain face up. We're going to put him here. I'll put him here. And this will go face down. This will go face down. And that one will remain face up. So the Battle of El Alamein threw the Italians out of it. Well, I always caused them to retreat. All right, so that's the end of that. And now the Americans are not doing anything. The Chinese, they're satisfied with where they are right now. So we will move on to the communists. And I will take a look at them and come back and see what they might or might not want to do. Okay, we have a couple of ground strikes for the Soviets. Now it's half, I believe. This is in snow. Snow, tactical, strategic factors halved. Alright, so this ground strike right here is a 1, which becomes a half, which becomes a 1. So we roll a die for a 1. And an 8 doesn't do it. He'll fly home. This one right here is a 2, which becomes a 1. So that's a 1 again. That also doesn't do it. A 9 don't cut it. Now the Soviets have come up with a 5-to-1 attack on this 8-4. From these hexes right here. And again, more than half of them are winterized, so there will be no reduction in odds. 5-to-1, Blitzkrieg. We're going to roll it. I don't want to flip Zhukov over, so we're just going to roll it. 5-to-1. Oh my God, that's a 9. Roll a 9. Can you see that? There we go. 9 on the 5 to 1. That is star to be. Needless to say, the German unit is dead. And the Soviets can actually blitz if they want. Now the problem is that this is November, December, and the weather can go clear real fast. So I'm not quite sure. I think we'll occupy with that one and this one. And I think we might call it good. And that one. There. That's a tough hex. Okay, I think we're good with that. I think that's good. Yeah. Yep. Russians are good right now. Actually, the Germans still got serious supply problems, so I think that's the end of the Russian impulse. The communist Chinese are doing nothing. The last thing that the Russians will do, they will roll a die to see if they end the turn. 10 does not end the turn. They needed a 1. So I will move on to the Democrats and roll weather. Oops, I'm sorry. We're actually moving on to the fascists, not roll weather. So I will take a look at what the Germans want to do. It's snow, so the supply situation is much better now. So figure out what they're going to do, and I'll be right back. Okay, for the fascist impulse, the Japanese, they just moved I think a single unit. They're not looking at attacking anything this impulse. And I think they're getting ready for something else. Over here and on the eastern front, we have 1 attack. We're right here. It was a 7 to 1, but because of the snow, it makes it a 5 to 1. It's exactly 49 factors. Counting this 4 Stuka becomes a half for the forest and half for the snow. That makes it a 1, and that gives me exactly 49 for that attack. So that's 49 to 7. It's 7 to 1. Reduce 2 odds columns for the snow. Makes it a 5 to 1. The Germans decided not to use HQ benefits, and the Soviets are not going to use HQ benefits either. They don't want their headquarters flipped over in case it's a really bad result. So 5 to 1 Blitzkrieg table. Wait a minute, I think it's Blitzkrieg. Yeah, he's a mechanized. I have armor here. Yes, I got more armor than he has, so it's on the Blitzkrieg table. 5 to 1. Oh, disaster for the Germans. Disaster. You rolled a 1. 5 to 1. 1. That's a 1-1. Well, it will kill the Soviet unit, but it's also flipping over all the German units. So 1-1. This guy's going to fly back to Kharkov. He goes away, and I got to lose a unit. I don't suppose I have a militia somewhere. Probably not. Nope. I think we will lose the 1-5. Yeah. None of these other ones are two. They're all more than that. So yeah, the 1-5 will have to go away. And unfortunately for the Germans, everything is going to be flipped over. But the Germans will get to occupy the hex. I think they will occupy with these 2. And that is going to be it for the offense down here. That was a really bad roll for the Germans. But hey, the Soviets said, okay, we'll trade that. We'll trade that. We don't want fine weather and then you attacking us. Okay, so that's it for the Germans. I think we have to roll to end the turn. Down in Africa, the Italians just consolidated a little bit after their defeat near El Alamein, or rather Alexandria. All right, roll to end the turn. 6 doesn't do it. So we will move on to the Democrats. We will roll weather, and we will see what we got to see. Alright, let's roll weather. We have a +1 to the weather roll. Well, that's a 9. Now we're back to blizzard. Blizzard, storm, snow, storm, fair, storm. Blizzard, snow, storm, fair, storm. That is a +2 to the next turn's weather roll. And the impulse marker will move up 3. Okay, I don't really see the British doing much of anything. I didn't do my subcom. Let's just roll and see if they would have found anything. No, they wouldn't have found anything anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, I think the Commonwealth, I think they're going to pass. All the Democrats are going to pass and try to end the turn. That's going to give them a 4 to end the turn. Alright, let's see what they get. Pretty important roll. A 7 does not end the turn. Alright, so we will move down to the Communists and see what they're going to do. Okay, in the blizzard and snow, no attacks for the Germans this turn. In fact, actually I'm not on the Germans, I'm on the Soviets. No attacks for the Soviets this turn. They just couldn't quite get enough anywheres to make an attack worthwhile without overcommitting themselves, so I didn't do that. And in fact, I even left a gap in the line right here, just because all the German units are face down, so I'm okay with that. What else happened? Nothing else happened. They just moved some units up and down the line, try to get a more consistent line. And the Communists, Chinese, didn't do anything. Stood there looking dumb. Okay. So, we were rolled in to turn. They need a 4. Let's see what they get. A 7 does not end the turn. We will move on to the fascist. Now, I'm going to have to take a look at this, see what we got going on. I'll be back in a second. Okay, the fascists basically finished without doing much of anything. Attacking in the snow or the blizzard in the Arctic zone is really difficult, and attacking in the snow when half your troops are face down is even more difficult. So they basically didn't do much of anything. The Italians have their own issues, so they're not doing much of anything. And the Japanese are preparing for something. I don't know what. But, alright, so the last thing we're going to do, we will roll to end the turn. The turn will end on a 6. So let's see what we get for a roll. A 4 ends the turn. The impulse is over. And we will go into the next set of impulses with a +2 to the weather roll, which for January, might as well pack it in. There ain't going to be clear anyways. Or at least in the Arctic North Temperate. So the Soviets basically are going to get by this winter without getting attacked much at all. Okay, let's roll for partisans. Grab my sheet, we'll roll for partisans, and I'll also roll for U.S. entry, and then I will do production. Alright, partisan roll. We rolled a 8. 8 for partisans is going to be, where are you? Greece, okay, Greece. Greece needs a 4 for a partisan, so we'll roll for Greece. Has it been a year? I think so. Okay, they do. Is it less? I can't remember. Yes, they get a partisan. So Greece will get a partisan. They got a real doozy of a partisan in 03. Who's next? 8. Spain, nope. Hungary, nope. France. France. 15, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. So that's going to be a 12. That's going to be a 3 to get a partisan in Spain and France. 10 doesn't do it. Yugoslavia. 5 won't do it there. There are 6 units in Yugoslavia. Portugal, South America, NEA, and India. India needs a 3. And India got a 3. So India will actually have a partisan. I'm sure that just makes the British so happy. Okay, is this 37? Yes, we can have this one. And I think we will occupy a factory, because that will deny the British a production point. Okay, now let's go and do U.S. entry. I think I can read it from here. U.S. entry. All right, we'll roll Germany first. That's a 1. Usually a 1 is pretty low. Germany's been in war 39, 40, 40, 41, so 2 years, so that's a +2. And +2 for the other 2, that's a +4, comes out to be a 5. That is a 0. Oh, and then a -1 for a Neutrality Act. Almost forgot about that. Okay, for the Italians, it's a 10, +2, +1, -1. So +2, so that'll be a 12. They get a +4. U.S. is hating on the Italians. Damn, I like pasta. All right, now the Japanese. Japanese get a 5, which is going to be 7. Which will be an 11, -1 for the Neutrality Act, will be a 10. A 10 is a +3. So that's a total of +7 for U.S. entry increases. And that will do it. I will calculate production. Everything's got to be turned back over. And yeah, I'll be back in a second. Okay, I've done the production. And it comes out something like this. Germany produced 41, started with 29, spent 29. Japan produced 19, started with 13, spent 16. Italy produced 12, started with 10, spent 9. The Soviet Union produced 32, started with 32, and spent 30. The Commonwealth produced 19, started with 12, spent 18. All these ships up here, that's the U.S. destroyer discounts. The U.S. produced 27, started with 24, spent 26. China produced 5, started with 5, spent 6. And the Free French produced 1 and started with -10 and spent nothing. So I will get these guys on the circle, and like, subscribe. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the comments, and I'll see you soon.